So, hi everybody.
Hello, hi everybody. How's Shanmugam? How you
Good morning,
doing?
JP. Very good, very good. So now we have an exciting topic for today.
I'm listening.
So AI has been ubiquitous in our industry, right? They talk
Oh
about
yeah,
AI
yeah.
all
Not
over the
only in our
place.
industry, everywhere.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we are in the process of figuring out how AI could be deployed in the best possible way in our industry. I know there are so many different areas, right, JP?
Yes, yes.
So clinical trials, drug discovery, and things like that. But let's just say um, data governance,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So if you are the data governor for a
Yeah.
major pharma company, how or what ways would you leverage AI?
Uh, I
Or
can tell
what
you
kind
what
of,
the problems I
yeah,
have, right?
what
Maybe the
problems?
problems.
Yeah.
The first problem I think we have as the data governor, we have lots of data,
Mm-hmm.
but people are not aware of what we have. So we have hundreds of data sources, literally,
Right.
right? And then people, they don't dare ask questions because you need to know enough to be able to ask smart questions.
Right.
So what happens, it stays like a black box and most people don't even know what we have.
Exactly.
I'll give you an example. People, as soon as they have a problem, they do primary research. Okay,
Yeah.
we need primary research. Primary research, the end is small.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, lots of money.
Mm.
What I tell people is you can do primary research. Maybe primary research is the right thing to do.
Mm.
But if you go through the secondary data, so like PLD data, EMR, and so on, and you analyze them, then maybe you realize, one, you don't need primary research for what you want, or second, if you still need primary research, your questions would be way, way more pointed.
Mm.
And you already have seen a lot of things, and you can, in that time that you have with the doctor or the patient, you can pack in more questions. So your primary research, your quality would just go up.
Exactly.
So that's clearly the fact that people don't have a good understanding, and AI, like a data democratizer, would help expose without being able to write, SQL code to interrogate the data. You can get the answer, and then if you can just talk to this thing, right, you get the answer. Would be great.
Okay.
I want to say that some of the issues I have as well
Okay.
would be one of the big headaches is the contracting with
right.
the data sources, right? So the contract is up for renewal. I have to decide if I have to renew or basically discontinue this thing, or someone will say, hey, we have to buy that new data source. I have to have an idea about what to do. So if I have this AI system that can help me make that decision, that'd be wonderful. And also, I need to organize information session. So, what content, what to focus on, what data sources, and what aspects of the data sources, which one that people already know they're going to be bored if I talk about this. And then what about the programming, the frequency with which, how well people are picking up the content that I'm giving out, so that would calibrate this. So those, I would think, Shanmugam, would be the kind of the big ones for issues as you call me data governor, thank you.
Right.
As a data governor that I have to face.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know I like the word how you democratize, have a vision to democratize data. And that is exactly what we built. And we have a new tool that we're launching today. It is the Data Democratizer.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So let's take a look.
Yeah, let's go for the demo.
Let's go. Okay, we're looking at the Data Democratizer. I like the little robot on the right here. And what you can see to the left of the robot is the conversation transcript. I believe this is where all the conversation is going to happen. And then on the left side, we'll see where we get there. This thing, I like it a lot because not only you can type in stuff, but you can talk to it. And so let's get started. Let's upload the file, maybe some file about the general data landscape, about different kinds of data that exist that we're interested in. Just upload that file. Cool. So it's telling us here that the file has been uploaded, and we can see it on the right corner, the loaded file underneath under stuff, and this is really good. So let's ask a few questions now. What kind of data is in that file that we just loaded?
The file contains information on various data sources in the pharmaceutical industry, including national level, account level, physician-focused, and patient-focused data. It also includes definitions, explanations, and comparisons of these data sources like NPA, NSP, exponent, PLD, SDOH, and others. The document further contains a data catalog describing available data, missing data, and vendor information, along with a glossary of relevant terms and codes used in healthcare data.
This is wonderful. Can you say a few words about the patient-level data that we have currently?
Patient-level data includes claims and prescription information for individual patients in cardiovascular and oncology. In oncology, there is longitudinal claims, specialty pharmacy data, lab results, and EMR-derived clinical summaries. Rare diseases lack active patient-level data currently.
Very nice. Are there data sources that we should have but we don't have?
Detailed hospital drug utilization data, payer access formulary data, inpatient or rare disease patient-level data.
Very interesting. Do we purchase any synthetic data today?
We own synthetic PLD datasets for oncology brands, used for simulation and model development. We are evaluating synthetic data for our rare disease hospital drug.
I'm very interested in clinical trials data.
I can see you are asking about clinical trials. Let me load some data about it.
Oh, interesting. It's loading the clinical
Done
trials.
loading. All ears.
Tell me a few words about the clinical trials data.
The clinical trials data includes study titles, URLs, statuses, conditions, interventions, sponsors, collaborators, phases, and funding types. The data also provides study types, completion dates, result posting dates, and locations. Some of the sponsors for the trials are AstraZeneca, Merck Sharp and Dome LLC, and Daiichi Sankyo.
Let's stop the robot 1 second here. Let's load a CSV file. The one that we just uploaded was a doc file, and yep. So what's cool with the CSV file, we can generate a SQL query, right? Okay, so let's ask about the SQL query. Okay, can you generate a SQL query for me that would allow me to see, say, the top 10 records of the CSV we just uploaded?
Query executed successfully. 52 rows returned.
Can you generate a chart that would show the frequency distribution based on, say, end contract date?
Here's a bar chart showing frequency distribution by end contract date.
Very nice, very nice. I'm very happy. Just to say a few words about, it has a client-server architecture. So what we're seeing here, this is the front end. There's a back end. And the reason we chose this is that on the back end, we can make sure that the data sources are not exposed. So we have the privacy or security, whatever word you want to use here. And the way the front end interacts with the server side is to make sure that this is very secure. We go through files. So basically, the SQL code that's generated here can be sent over. And let's send some SQL code that you can upload to like an inbox. So this basically uploads the SQL code, and the server, through an asynchronous call, would detect the presence of the SQL code and then does its job and then generates the result of the SQL code in the output box. So this is how the client server, we have this interaction through the cloud. And so you'll notice here we have like a rating. So it says 3 stars, and we didn't change it too much, but we can put like 5 or 1 if we are disappointed in the result. And what it does, it allows me, the user, to rate the quality of the response that we have. And the reason that and we mentioned that is back to when Shanmugam was talking. So the super user, that say the data governor here, would be able to do a couple of things. So let's go and use the Data Democratizer in the super user mode.
Super user mode activated. Click on Load Transcripts from Cloud, then ask me questions.
So let's follow the recommendation. And here what we're doing is that for each interaction that we have with the Data Democratizer, we have a transcript that's generated for each conversation. So a person can have several conversations with different people. So you can picture in the organization, you have a lot of those transcripts that happening. And now that cool thing about this is that as a super user or the data governor, you can have a very good sense of the types of questions that people ask. What are they interested in? What are data sources that they're coming up with? Are they talking a lot about synthetic data, or that big data source that we just purchased? Are they really using that data source? Those are the questions. We can think about it's time for contract renewal or discontinuation or acquisition of new data. So based on the questions that are being asked, we can get not the answer, but it informs the decision, right? So one of the things that we think a lot about is that people like to do primary research. So as soon as we have a problem, they do we need to do primary research? And primary research may be the way to go. And by kind of identifying this, we can tell people, we can go do your primary research, but first interact with the system, try to get the answers, and then maybe your questions will be sharper, right? So this is kind of another use of this. So let's continue. Tell me a little bit of what's happening in the transcripts. What kind of things people are asking?
Users are frequently asking about data sources available in the data catalog, especially synthetic data, clinical trial data, and data relevant to specific therapeutic areas like oncology, cardiovascular, and rare diseases. They also inquire about data vendors, contract end dates, and the completeness of the data for various analytical purposes like incentive compensation.
Is there any specific data or data vendor that people have been asking for in the last month?
Based on the transcripts, users have been asking about IQVIA NPA, Exponent, PLD, GTC Genomic Testing Cooperative, and synthetic data from various internal sources. They've also inquired about data sources like EMR, claims data, and data related to clinical trials.
So as you can see, we can query the Data Democratizer regarding the transcript and the conversation. And I believe with that, we have some ideas about how we can leverage not only democratizing the data to users from commercial analytics, medical affairs, HEOR, whatever it is, contracting. And you can also use, you can have your eyes, so to speak, and your ears to know what people are interested in. And that can help inform, for example, information session. So what is the content of the information session, and how frequently should we have them? And about contracting that we talked about, and all these other cool things, right? I think that should help shed light a little bit on what the use of AI could be for the role of the data governor. Thank you, Bat.